Go ahead.
Namaste, Rangarajan ji. Thank you for coming as a guest to the Mahabhoomi podcast. Um, I'm really grateful for the kind of work that you are doing. Um, you call yourself a Dasa of Rama, and you're not. One USP about you is that you're not looking for fame. You're through your profile on Twitter and your website, I have got to understand that you are fiercely dedicated to the cause of Dharma for saving our temples. And I would like to I would like you to give a brief introduction about the kind of work that you do for the audience.
Srimati Ramanujan Namaha. My name is Rangarajan Narsimhan. I live in Sri Rangam for the audience. So Sri Rangam is one of the uh, Dividesams of Sri Vaishnavas. Sri Vaishnavas have 108 places in India, which they refer as Dividesams. So I am in a place which is number one of that, which is also called Bulog Vaikund. So here, I am on the banks of River Kaveri, and you wanted me to tell what I am doing. I do nothing basically. I'm a Dasa of Rama. What do I do? A Dasa of Rama leaves everything to Rama and then goes about his daily chores, and that's what I do. Like the monkeys, I'm trying to be at least the monkeys of Rama's army, who helped him in the way that they could. I'm trying my level best to be equal to those monkeys, basically, to the last of those monkeys.
All right, sir. So let me put the question in another way: that how do you serve Sri Rama? What are your flowers? What are your garlands? What is your kumkum to serve Sri Rama? What are the things that you do?
Yeah, Sri Rama Dasa should be in a position to do what Sri Rama thinks. That's what Hanuman did, Hanumanji he never got any commands from Rama. He knew what Rama wanted and he did it. Sri Rama wanted Dharma to be protected and then preserved and then passed on to the next generation. In my little might and in the little knowledge that I have, I am trying to do my bit to Dharma, to protect Dharma, by practicing it to start with my Varnashram Dharma, and by trying to give a voice through the legal forums on the atrocities that happens predominantly in temples and as well as in the society, which are not supposed to be happening. Srimad Bhagavata tells that these things will happen during Kalikal, but they also say that Swami Ramanuja is a person who, as they in Tamil they say, Kaliyum kedum kandukonmin, meaning when Ramanuja is there, even Kali will die. So as a Ramanuja Dasa as well, I am trying to see how best we can tackle the atrocities that happens, the adharmic activities that happen around us, without just keep being a mute spectator and just raising my objection on the social media or other things. So I take it one step forward to go to the courts and then try to see if I can find a legal solution to these things. That's how I serve Sri Rama.
Thank you. From all Sanatanis and myself, I express my gratitude to people like yourself for the great work that you do for Dharma, sir. So I understand the political scenario as well as part of the legal scenario, and I want to come to that later. But recently, I saw what you put out on Twitter, and I thought that it is not just an outsider problem. There is something also wrong inside. there are certain, I mean, we can keep on discussing what is the attacks that we are facing, the enemies that are there, but there is also something fundamentally that we have not been able to figure out for ourselves, in
Mhm.
terms of appreciating our heritage and
Mhm.
preserving and uh, making our culture thrive, right?
Mhm.
In
Mhm.
context to preserving temples, what are these challenges that come from within the community, from within the people who are serving Sanatan?
Uh, yeah, before I get to the answer, for the sake of the audience's knowledge,
Hmm.
we know live in a year where in a kind of a time where in India, most of the temples in North India has been demolished by the invaders,
Correct.
and hardly a few is left over in the northern side, which is ancient. Many of them are all new only, and that's the since the attack of the invaders are so hard on the northern side of our country, we lost most of our heritage, and that's the history of our country in the northern side.
Hmm.
When you come to southern side of India, we still are lucky enough to have several temples which talk about our culture, we talk about our history, which talks about who we are, almost intact.
Hmm.
Um, and uh, temples like where I am in Sri Rangam, the Sri Rangarajan Swami temple, which is the largest living temple in the world. The largest one is Angkor Wat, which is in Cambodia, which is not which is just a ruin today. And the
Hmm.
single large temple which is functional in the whole of the world is Sri Rangarajan Swami temple, Sri Rangam. Many people don't know this. The temple is spread over 156 acres. Just the temple. Um, it will, if you include the two streets which has been taken over by the localites to as a residential place, it'll cross anywhere. It's more than 350 acres or so.
Hmm.
So there are several temples like this in southern part of India, especially in Tamil Nadu, which are still functional. There are temples in Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh which are also ruins, which are ancient. The one ancient temple which still lives is Venkateshwara Swami temple in Tirupati, which everybody knows.
Hmm.
Other not much of many of the temples are known in Andhra Pradesh or Telangana. In Tamil Nadu, you can easily count more than 3,000 such temples which are still standing erect, and then which are still functional. What is happening today is that these temples, because of the lapse of the time and the natural issues, they go through some issues. Repairs are required, maintenance are required. Wrong maintenance, wrong repair, and maladministration in these temples are actually destructing these temples on a daily basis. That's what we
Hmm.
see here. Many of the people who are in northern side of India won't know it. Most of you who come here as pilgrims spend a day or two in a temple and then you just go back, so you may not know what is happening. But people
Hmm.
in southern, especially in Tamil Nadu, we know how our temples are getting desecrated day in and day out in the name of maintenance and restoration of the temple or preservation of the temples.
Hmm.
So the as a country we Indians are not having enough uh, awareness of what heritage means. The we, we don't know. We think that we see a lot of our ancient things here all over the place, and we take it for granted that they are there forever. And
As tourism,
as to
sometimes
yeah,
as.
whatever it is tourism, whether it is there in our country, so we don't have to go elsewhere to see those things. It
Hmm.
is always there. So we see this. We don't have that. See, they say familiarity breeds contempt, right? So
Hmm.
too many of our temples here in southern part of India has led to a lack of awareness on the importance of these temples, and that has also caused a serious has had a serious effect on the status of these temples today. The apathy, the lack of awareness, and the political unwillingness of the political parties to preserve them are all reasons why temples in southern part of India, especially in Tamil Nadu, are suffering on a daily basis. I don't know if I answered the question, but we'll elaborate on it later. So as we go forward.
No, I guess you presented a good backdrop to that question. And we'll let the conversation evolve in that, in the same sequence. So, if you're saying that temples are in ruins and there is misadministration and maladministration, then why is it? And as I understand the southern territory, um, there are lots of temples. There are villages and talukas and districts, which have a temple. The whole significance sometimes of the entire taluka is coming from the temple itself. So why is it not a issue for the polity and the people? I mean, southern politics goes in its own direction, but it is only through the efforts of certain people in the last 10 years that this temples and preservation has become a social issue. I don't think it has still become a political issue. Why is that?
It has not yet become a social issue also. That is the reason why it has not become a political issue. It will become a political issue when it becomes really a social issue.
Mhm.
Like I said, people are not aware of the importance of these temples. In the ancient days and even today, the economy of a place depends, not only economy, everything. The ecosystem of a society revolved around a temple. Temple
Mhm.
formed the center of the society, and you will have in the center, even the layout of the entire village uh, will be based on a Vastu Shastra. There will
Correct.
be a Vishnu temple on the center on the eastern side. Northeastern side you will have a Shiva temple, and around the periphery you will have the Grama Devatas they call, which is basically the Kalis and the Ayyanars of southern India. The whole
Mhm.
place will be centered around a temples rather. People used to stay around these temples and then had a life. Economy revolved around the temple. Even today, in many of the temple cities, it is like that.
Mhm.
We're far away from these things as well. So we have places which are not having some temples as center. But the place where I am living in today, even today, it revolves around the main temple, Sri Rangarajan Swami temple. The entire economy lives around it, thrives around it. So it is the if there is an issue in Srirangam which is affecting the livelihood of people, it will become a social issue and thus it will become a political issue.
Mhm.
Right now, what is happening is the issues that are happening in the temple are um, kind of masked to the public. What is happening inside the temple and around the temple and for the temple, that is the physical structure of the temple,
Mhm.
is not easily seen by the social society because it's not affecting their livelihood on a day-to-day basis. The temple lives, but the customs and practices, the pujas and punaskaras, the Vedic rituals, and all those things that are happening in the temples are being attacked by the Nastic minded politicians who are plenty in Tamil Nadu basically, and they attack the internal way of functioning which has been there for thousands of years, and they attack the physical structure in the name of maintenance. Like I said, the awareness of what is ancient, what is heritage is not known to many people. If you look at Srirangam temple, in an archaeological survey of India, has recorded the inscriptions that are there on the walls of the temple, and
Mhm.
they have volume 24 completely dedicated only to Srirangam temple, and that contains only 30% of the inscriptions. They are yet to digitize or record the 70% of the inscriptions that are there. What are these inscriptions about? The inscriptions talk about everything from rituals to the properties of the temple to the kind of uh, what do you say, the administration that is happening inside the temple as well as around the temple. All
Mhm.
these things are the history that tells us how we lived in the past, and many people don't understand these things. You might have seen in some of my Twitter posts how people vandalize these temples by painting on it, by writing their names on it, by carving their names on it. uh, uh, they will say I love you, and then I put it on top of of an ancient painting without understanding the importance of it. So that these kind of things are actually playing in the hands of the administration, which is doing a maladministration in this, and they see spending the money of the temple on such renovations will help them loot these temples. That is one way by which the temple's wealth is looted. So the
Mhm.
society thinks, on the other hand, oh, they are only renovating. What is wrong? They don't even know what is happening. They don't even know what they are losing because of their uh, the kind of awareness that they have. So long as they can go to the temple, quickly have darshan by paying 500 rupees or 1000 rupees, or even go on a black ticket, that is all that matters for them. This is the reason why it has not become a social issue, and thus it has not become a political issue. So it will become a political issue if there is a political party in our country which has got the guts to stand for our culture. I don't
Correct.
see any political party in our country which has got the guts to do this. Every political party is only behind the vote bank,
Mhm.
and to get the votes, they go to inside the temple, and then in the name of making facilities to the devotees, they introduce paid darshan, which will help the rich people to go have a quicker darshan, and the poor people struggle in lines together. Day before yesterday, you might have seen in Tirupati that the queue is like 7 kilometers long, and
Mhm.
8 hour wait to have darshan in Tirumala, Tirupati Balaji temple. This is a good chance when people are going in crores to these temples on a particular day. It gives a
Mhm.
chance for administration, which is actually maladministration, to loot the temple in the name of facilities, which majority of the people won't object to, because if there is no paid darshan in temple, for argument's sake, and if
Mhm.
everybody has to go in one queue, there is only one queue which is only free queue. You have to stand in the line and then go have darshan. I am sure 50% of the population won't go to temple, number one, and the 50% of the population which is not going to go to the temple will say that the administration is bad because it is not giving us an opportunity to have darshan by giving paid tickets. So
Mhm.
actually it is the other way. Instead of the society trying to protect the temple, the society is also playing a part in the maladministration of the temple, which has been exploited by the administration as well as by the politicians. So that is, it's a tricky situation that the country needs education from different fronts
Mhm.
on key certain things are there. This is not an exhibition center or a movie theater. Temples are our cultural heritage, our cultural wealth, our spiritual wealth. People should start seeing it as spiritual and cultural wealth of this country, the history of our country. When they start doing so, there will be some change, which is what I'm my most of my Twitter feeds will be towards that. That's why I'm not very popular, even though I am negatively popular.
I think popularity is not a good benchmark to assess a
That's what
person's
I'm saying.
contribution. Right.
I don't, that is not something that I measure myself of.
Yeah.
Like I said in the beginning, my job is to protect Dharma and to tell what Dharma is. Irrespective of what the outcome is, I have to say that.
So my co- wha- a thought that I have is that we don't have many practicing Hindus as it is. Um, Going to the temple and just trying to have a darshan, asking the supreme consciousness for some kind of material benefit, or to get married, etc., etc., etc. That's a totally different thing. And being a practicing sadhak, having austerities in your life, considering, so for a lot of Hindus, so this is, I'm younger than yourself, and amongst my peers and those younger to me, and some of those who are like 5-10 years older to me, I find a particular disease, as I like to frame it, which is that they think that Shiva or Krishna, it's a mental concept, you know, it's a philosophical thing, and it's not a real God, so as to say, it is some. So they basically, because they're not into rituals, they don't do sadhana. Uh, they have basically made an academic construct of our deities, right? For Shiva, for me, is a father figure, and Parvati for me is a mother figure, right?
Mhm.
Krishna, Radha, and for people who are into it, it is a very emotional issue. If we see the portrayal of Shiva in a bad manner in a movie,
Mhm.
the moment I saw it, I have stopped watching Bollywood. I don't
Right.
watch it, right?
Correct.
Because Shiva is a family member to me,
Right.
right? But for most of us, for I think 80-90% of people, that's not the case anymore. That sentiment has gone away, and that's why they're just fine with this desecration.
The
What do you have to
question
say
is,
about that?
the question is, why are they like that? That is the question that we should ask.
Correct.
That is reason for the spiritual gurus that were there in this country, who had guided this country for a long time. That is why our country is still India, in spite of all the negativities that we have around.
Now it
Yeah,
is Bharat. Now it
yeah,
is Bharat.
yeah. Bharat is Bharat is still having that unique space in the world. It is
Mhm.
only because of our acharyas.
Correct.
Acharyas like Sankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, and Madhvacharya are those who guided us to in the right direction towards the true knowledge. Right
Mhm.
now, we have some knowledge which we claim to be having knowledge. Many of us we think that if we go to school and college, we are literates. That itself is wrong. Even the
Mhm.
government, even the government of India says, if has to find out what is the literacy rate of a state, they will go about how many people in the state can write and then sign their name and then
Mhm.
read that. That is the benchmark. Nothing more than that. Okay. So
Correct.
kind of knowledge that we think we have today, and combine that with the quick money that everybody makes because of those kind of shallow knowledge that one has. Let's say, for example, if somebody is into software development, immediately makes a lot of money. Somebody into chartered accountancy, if he goes to a good firm, he takes a lot of money. Somebody who is an advocate makes a lot of money. Doctor makes a lot of money. So people start thinking that this bookish thing is knowledge, but what real knowledge is, they don't know. However, since we have this knowledge in our genes from years, generations together, we still
Mhm.
consider Krishna, Radha, Shiva, Parvati, Rama, Sita, everybody as a godly figure, and we still want to pray towards them for certain benefit, like you said, material benefits. That's how it has become. That is because today people don't know the relationship between the rituals as well as the physiology, the psychology, the philosophical part of the
Mhm.
whole thing lost. Philosophy is can be only taught by gurus, and the gurus are right now invisible today, unfortunately. Even though they are there, they have become invisible to the masses. So what has happened is, it has become a question of people going to the temple, doing just the rituals, which has become a question of blind faith. It has become a
Mhm.
blind faith. And that is the reason why there is no attachment towards the god. Because you go to a temple, let's say I go to a Shiva temple for like reasons like you said, I want to have a job, good job. So
Mhm.
somebody go to the Shiva temple and then do 13 rounds or 12 rounds, and then you will get a jobs quickly. They go there, do that, thinking that is what is going to fetch them the job. without understanding why they should go to a Shiva temple or for that matter a Krishna temple and surrender them, and then not worry about these job issues, which is just the local, what we call in Tamil as Sitrinbam, meaning the low happiness. The high happiness is the moksha. The
Mm-hmm.
Atma, we are Atma. The sense that we are Atma is lost today. We think our body is us today. So if anything gives good results, then we praise that. If it gives bad result, then we either curse it or we ignore it. So people have become, they go to temple for with a prayer that I should get a job, or I should get a medical seat, or I should get married, or I should get a house, or I should get a lottery for that matter, or my health should improve. If it works after your prayer, then you praise the Lord. If it does not work, then you lose your faith. This is only because of the sticking into the ritual part alone, and then saying that this is Hinduism. That is how Hinduism has become today. Yesterday, day before yesterday, I think, yes, I was in Chennai on a debate, on a public debate in a TV called Tandi TV,
Mm-hmm.
and it is about the Sanatana controversy that is there today and the effect of it in 2024 elections. To me, the topic itself is absurd. But nevertheless, I was invited and I went there to take it as an opportunity to talk about Sanatana Dharma. I did not
Mm-hmm.
what the election issues are. I just want to use that platform to tell people what really Sanatana Dharma means. That means it is about Paramatma and Jivatma. Nobody seems to be talking about this. We all think that this body that we have today is us. And that is why we try to satisfy the needs of this body, which actually should be serving this Atma, that is we.
Mm.
This is our body, it should serve us. We meaning Atma. The body should serve the Atma and the Atma should serve the Paramatma. This is the philosophy behind our Vedas that has been taught about by the Vedas. Unfortunately, this simple thought is not being propagated by our acharyas of today's. Several gurus are there, several sadhus are there who are learned, but they for reasons best known to them are not coming forward to mingle with the crowd and then try to ensure that they tell the right thing to the population. Instead, the politicians have taken that role. They neither know politics, they know nothing, but they have taken the role of the gurus, the religious gurus, and
Mm-hmm.
they preach whatever that comes in their mind for the reason for which is beneficial to them. So that is the reason why we are all confused. That is the reason why we go to a temple and then pray for material benefits, and we are not getting offended when somebody insults our gods, because it's not, we don't see that it is our life. God is our life. You are talking to them, you are saying that you see them as your family member. Vedas tell that Paramatma is a Jivatma's life. Just like
Mm.
the life of this body is Atma, Paramatma is life of Jivatma. So if somebody is going to hurt your life, how much will you get agitated? Somebody is insulting your life means you will get agitated like anything, right?
Correct.
Since you don't have that knowledge that Paramatma is your life, you don't get any emotion towards it. I mean, in the emotion, I don't mean that you should go and then beat the other person up, but you should stand up for the philosophy that you hold dear and near, the ethics that you hold near and dear, the ideas, the moral values that are all surrounding this should be near and dear. The lack of education in this aspect, in north of India, I can see there are a lot of uh, congregation where Sri Ramayana is told, Sri Mahabharata is told, Srimad Bhagavata is told, other Puranas, Vishnu Puranas are all told, Shiv
Mm-hmm.
Puranas, but these are all told as just stories. They are not told as something which will help us live. We should mold our way of life. Why did Rama come to this earth? To show us how to live. Why did Krishna come to earth? To show us how to fight evil. Unfortunately, this is not really told to the masses by the pravachana kartas. who do the pravachans, and also the acharyas. The moment they start doing this, there will be a change because people are wanting to know, but they don't get fed with the right information. Instead, like I said, politicians are filling the space, and the modern gurus are also filling the space. The modern gurus are all targeting towards the material happiness, well-being of the person. They say desire as much as you want. This is kind of the propagation they say, which is absurd, which is directly opposite to what Vedas tell. You should be without any desires, without any wants. You should be detached. But people are now propagating these modern gurus come and then say get attached to things. Go and then get it. Nobody can stop you. You are the one. You are the God. This is kind of wrong propagation that is happening with the modern gurus. And since people are wanting some food for their thought, which they are hungry for philosophy, and they don't know what is right and what is wrong, and they are being exploited by different kinds of people for their benefits. As if there is a politician, they look for vote banks. If there is a modern guru, they look for the followings and the money that comes out of the following, etc., etc. Our forefathers built these temples looking for nothing. They built these temples. If you come to Tamil Nadu, people from North India should come to Tamil Nadu and then see how these temples are built. They are huge temples. These huge temples are endowed with lots of properties, and the concept is to use these properties to make revenue for the temple to function.
Mhm.
That means not a single paisa is expected from a devotee.
Correct.
In our country, we say Atiti Devo Bhava, right?
Mhm.
He is supposed to be looked into as God himself, right? But a visitor who is coming from, let us say, Gujarat or Maharashtra to Tamil Nadu to have darshan of Shri Rangarajan Swami here, are we treating him as atithis or are we treating him as customers?
Right now, I think it's the customer model that is in operation.
So where is the Atithi Devo Bhava in temple? Unfortunate, isn't it? So the Atithis that are however, our forefathers had the foresight to ensure that all these Atithis will be having places to stay. They will be fed with the prasad that is offered to God, and they created an ecosystem which will serve them, which has unfortunately collapsed. And then it has become self-serving for the localites now, unfortunately. Ramanujacharya had created certain programs inside the temple only to serve the Atithis. He had his administration had 20 groups of people, 10 groups which is called internal and 10 groups that is external. The first group that he named is basically to serve the Atithis. The very first group is to serve Atithis who are coming inside the into the country, into the town. Okay, but today anybody who is coming inside is looked into by the kind of car or the bus or whatever they are coming in, and they are from the bus stand onto the temple to see how the money can be taken away from them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that is
You'll be
exactly why we are become like this now.
so, sir, if you come to North India, the situation is much, much, much worse.
Yeah, I have seen
You're
it.
not. You must have. I'm sure you have been. I'm from. I'm from there. The temple ecosystem has pretty much collapsed. It's under the ground right now. Even the acharyas for karma kand, etc., that come out, they're not very deft with knowledge, and not just knowledge but skill itself. So one day, I know somebody, for example, who used to do karma kand. I asked him to translate certain words of Sanskrit for for the benefit of the people who are sitting around. The guy couldn't do it. He just wouldn't do it.
They are trained to give pravachans. That's all.
Pravachan or recitals.
Yeah,
Pravachan or rote recitals.
And they are not trained to educate or help people from their miseries. They are not trained for it.
So sir, then the deeper question is that what is the role of the temple in a society? And I'm asking like in a larger context. obviously there is an ecosystem around the temple, but in guiding the society, in guiding dharma, in guiding the nation, what is the role of the temple? I- do you have some thoughts on that?
Very much, very much. It is a very, very good question. The kind of role that we see in today's temples is not we should actually time travel behind like 300, 400 years back to understand what is the role of a temple. In India, be it Shaivism, be it Vaishnavism, be it Shaktism, be it Buddhism, be it Jainism, there are n number of religions in this country. And all these religions thrived under different kings who followed different kind of philosophies. There could be a Shaivite king, he would not harm there will be remote instances of the history where there are issues, but predominantly a king respected every religion in this country, tolerance was there, and due respect was given. For what? The reason is the only reason that the temples existed, were created, is to ensure that people get the education that they don't otherwise get.
Mhm.
In a country, a country is usually what interested in what? A country is interested in the betterment of the materialistic life of a person, right? How
More
do
or
I
less.
Yeah, how do I improvise? How do I make infrastructure better? How do I become a several trillion dollar country? How do I protect these things, that, etc., etc.? It's more or less materialistic. How do I become a better country materialistically is what a country thinks today. But
Mhm.
in those days, kings not only thought this is important, they thought this is not very important, but the superior being, the most important thing for a person is to become a better person and to attain moksha. That is to serve the Paramatma. And
Mhm.
to get that is why they have built several big temples in the countries. Why should they build so big a temple? They don't have to be big temples, right? They built big temples because these temples are bigger than their palaces, right?
Correct.
Today's world, the size of the temple has shrunk. If somebody is building a temple, he probably will build it in a 10 by 10 small places, a new temple I'm talking about.
Hmm.
But in those days, temple building itself is a several year project, and the project included people in the society, different
Sometimes
kind,
it was several generations.
several generations, several kingdoms,
Correct.
several kings, several faiths have also changed, but the temples have continued to evolve. Okay, so the purpose of the temple is not just for the material well-being of a life, but for the spiritual well-being of life. So, what do you expect from a temple? You expect spiritual elevation of a person, and there in the temples, the Brahmins said, who are educated, who will help people out of their miseries that they face in their regular life, right?
Mhm.
Everybody, whether he is the richest person or the poorest person, whether he is the most famous person or nobody in the country, he is going through a cycle of happiness and sorrow throughout their life. Even in one day, somebody will be very happy in the morning, but will be very sad in the evening. I may be very, even physically, you say, I may be very warm in the morning, but it will be very cold in the evening. So we go through this kind of pains and pleasures alternatively on a person's life. This goes through the entire life of the person on every single day. And if you try to win this directly from the physical or the materialistic perspective, you will never be able to come out of it. This is exactly what our Shastras tell. To
Mhm.
be able to get out of this pains and pleasures that comes again and again, which is a result of births and rebirths and deaths, is what we should be knowing about. And depending on the philosophy, depending on the acharya, whether it is Shaivism or Advaitism or Vishishtadvaitam or Advaitam, the acharyas helped the people to come out of this misery and then focus their and shifted their focus from the physical materialistic life into the spiritual Atma Paramatma area. And
Mhm.
the purpose of the temple is only to do that. There is a God who is the Paramatma. The temple tells look, this is the Paramatma who is actually residing inside your heart. To tell that, because we can't see what is there inside our body. We can't even see what is there in our throat, right? We can see what is there on the surface. But what is inside us, we don't know. How many of us know what is there inside the nostrils? We don't know. How many of us know what is there inside our eyelids, or inside our ears, or inside our mouth, beyond a certain point? Even if you use mirrors and other things, you can't. You
As
can't
it
know.
is, sir, we are limited by the five senses. So
Yes,
there is only so much.
even the five senses are very limited.
Yeah.
Right. So it is not possible for a human being to understand that this Atma is the one which is running the body. Similarly, the Paramatma is the one which is running the Atma. For that, they created temples and then they showed, look, this is the Paramatma who came before Arjuna and then gave him Bhagavad Gita and then did a Vishwarupa in front of him to ensure that it is him who is controlling everything. And since if you leave things to him, your miseries will be gone. Your miseries will have a lesser effect on you because you are actually taking a shelter under the Paramatma. And it is his job to protect you, not the other way. To tell this, they created this temple. That is the purpose of the temple. To be able to tell every individual that there is some supreme being called Paramatma who resides inside you as Antaratma. When you say Paramatma, Antaratma, then obviously there must be a Jivatma, right? Only then there is a Jivatma, there is an Antaratma, and there is a Paramatma. So to tell this concept and to tell the relationship between the Jivatma and the Paramatma and how we can be carefree, worry-free inside the temple while we are indulging ourselves in the happiness of God. The same way we can be outside as well is why they created these temples. And unfortunately, whatever I am saying will be probably Greek and Latin to many people who are listening uh, to this podcast, baby, because people think going to the temple is to show that you are a Hindu, number one, or to like get some material benefits. That is the reason why temples are built, is what people will say. I actually wanted to take my camera and then microphone and ask this question to people who are on the streets actually. Why is there temple? And I am sure this is the answers that we get will be no closer to what I said just now.
You won't get any answer. I have
That's what.
tried asking. I have personally tried asking people that question, and when you ask them, it is we had to come, we had to do darshan. That's it. That's it. They won't. I mean, they won't. Most of the time, they won't even say that they've come for some kind of social life or material benefit, which I'm fine with. We are in a physical plane. We are in a material plane. There are certain dharmas that we have. There are acharyas who tell you to sort of accumulate material wealth and uh, become successful in your career. All that is fine, but the primary thing is that jiva should find gati towards atma, and atma should find gati towards paramatma. That main chapter, the first chapter, the preface or the preamble sort of goes out.
Right.
Right.
Right. That is the purpose of temple. The temple filled this void in the olden days. That is why the temple was celebrated by everybody in this country, and that is why there are several temples in this country, unlike anywhere else in the world. Okay, because that is why we are still rooted today. Like you said, when you took the camera and the microphone and asked people, they said it is our duty. That's why we are going. That duty consciousness is still clinging. That means we still have hope. The moment we lose it, I have been to Japan and I've seen a lot of Buddha, these things there, temples there. And when I go inside, there will be nobody. There will be nobody literally. There will be very, very old Buddhist temples that are there everywhere in Japan. But there will be hardly people which you can count with the hands of fingers of one hand when you get inside the temple. The people have lost their connect to the temples. That is why they are struggling very much. We still have the faith. Whether it is blind faith or whatever it is, we still have the faith and we still have it in our gene, that it is still clinging. And that is the beauty of Bharat. The Bharat Desha is only known for this, that it is ground. That is why it is a karma bhumi. We call it as a karma bhumi because it is rooted to the to our gods and to the Vedas. It will survive. It will survive for sure. But more and more people are actually getting misguided with the kind of things that is happening in temples today. Unfortunately, like I said, acharyas must come out and then start telling people that when you go to a temple, at least when you come to the temple, don't come with expectations that you will have a quick darshan.
In fact, if people don't, this VIP line is abolished, I think the management itself will become much better because an MP and MLA will also have to get on the same line,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. But when I went, the funny thing is that when once in one of the cases that I filed, when I said this has to be abolished, the VIP thing, immediately the jokingly the judge said, "What about us?"
Yeah. He
So,
mu- he mu-
yeah, people. I mean, yeah, I can understand that certain people who are very important in the society that times cannot has be taken care. The security has been taken care of. Well, a very minuscule population can get in and then get out
but
in a thing. But
that's
here,
not really a management issue, sir.
that should not
Because,
happen. Again, the problem is law education to them is also missing. When you go
correct.
into a temple, is one among the masses. That's all.
Yes.
Your social
And sir, even on a toll gate, even on a highway, at a highway toll gate, you have a list of dignitaries who are allowed free pass.
exactly. See, in foreign countries, I don't see this. Many of the foreign countries, many of the dignitaries take the public transport.
Yes, correct.
So here, even in the public places, like you said, in the toll booth, they have a list of dignitaries who you can go without paying. I don't know why they should not pay. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand that they get a special quick exit because of security reasons, but I don't know why they should not pay. That I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean that's such a small category of people that I think we can overlook them.
Yeah,
The
like,
general
like
discussion is much larger.
the darshan tickets, instead of saying VIP tickets, if you say darshan paid darshan tickets must be abolished. And it cannot be abolished with the current setup. The temples must be managed by the devotees. The temples must be managed by the acharyas. Then they can have a say on things. Right now, it is not happening.
So sir, coming to the a more slightly technical aspect, because of my background and your profession, I think I can ask this question in a very precise manner, that we have something called the essential services in a temple and the non-essential services in a temple, right? There has been a series of litigation on this, regarding dharma as well, that what are the practices that should be allowed with, if they are harm some kind of public interest. Now, even if you take that principle, anything that happens around the garbhagriha, which is the core, basically this was a tactic of the British to loot temples, and then it was stitched into our present constitution in 1947, released in 1950, which is that we sort of differentiate between the essential practices and the non-essential practices. Non-essential practices are bhandara and all these things, which involves a lot of money, and that is where we can we can act as a commission agent, basically. And even if you take that principle, the garbhagriha and the essential practices, I mean, in the onset itself, there is no point that the government should be in the temple. They have no bloody purpose to be inside the temple or its administration, because as it is, even if you talk from a service point of view, government is the worst provider of services. I
Exactly.
mean, it can give you a phone or a induction cooker or a microwave or a
Correct.
TV or a fridge sometime, but when it comes to services, we know how well PSUs are, and
Service. What you said is not service. It's bribe.
it's bribe, basically, right? But even if we take that argument, they should have never touched the essential practices.
I will
The
words instead of saying essential. In my opinion, everything is essential inside a
I know,
temple.
sir. I know, sir. I know
Other,
everything is essential. I
other than
understand that.
essential and non-essential. We can use secular and non-secular, religious and
Maybe.
non-religious.
But sir, there is nothing that can happen inside a temple which is non-religious or secular.
Exactly, exactly. But
Because
what the government has done today, like you said in Constitution, they have termed it, and also the courts have did the same thing. Is that those areas where the money comes in, where which they termed it as secular areas, where
Mhm.
anybody have a say into it. That is how they have come inside the temple. If the money that is been earned by a temple is termed as a religious money, then they have no reason why they should be there at all.
Absolutely no reason. But
That is a
even if
religious.
yeah, but sir, even if we take their argument, right? Secular and non-secular, even if we take their argument, they have started interfering in the non-secular business of the temple as well. Even they have transgressed over the demarcation they themselves have created.
Because they are greedy now. They are greedy. Earlier, it slowly they took over the secular part, so-called secular part. They started eating the money, and now they see that if you don't, you can't make more money if you don't interfere in the religious part. For
Mm.
example, like I said, in this is a month, Tamil month called Puratasi. Okay, it is
Mhm.
Puratasi Saturdays, or all the 4 Saturdays are very important to Lord Vishnu in Tamil Nadu. Okay.
Correct.
So that is the reason why a couple of days back, Saturday, there was a 48-hour wait and then 7 kilometer long queue in Tirupati.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, a temple has got the most important aspect of a temple is to serve Bhagwan by doing pujas, right?
Mhm.
And to do pujas, it will take arti, what you call in your places arti, right? When to do this arti, it will take anywhere between, of course, North India, it will probably take 15-20 minutes, but in South India, the rituals are even more elaborate. And so it will take anywhere
Correct.
between 1.5 to 2 hours.
Correct.
Okay, for 1.5 hours to 2 hours, for 6 times a day. For 6 times a day. In Gujarat, I have been to your Dwarka, Bet Dwarka. I have been there, and I
Mhm.
see other places as well, where you do the alankar and different kinds of things in different times of the day, right? In Tamil
Mhm.
Nadu, when temples are run by Agama Shastras, there will be at least 6 times of pujas. And if you do 6 times of pujas for 2 hours a day, you are actually losing 12 hours of day for no
Mm.
darshan. In the puja, there will not be any darshan, right?
Correct.
So 12 hours of the day is gone. If you assuming that the temple is open from 6 a.m. in the morning to 10 a.m. in the evening, you get 16 hours,
Mm.
right? 6 to 6 plus another 4 hours, 16 hours. Even if you assume 1 hour for a puja, you lose 6 hours. Out of 16 hours, you have 10 hours only. 8 to 10 hours for darshan. Okay. And if in 8 to 10 hours, how many people can you accommodate? You can't accommodate so many because there is the demand is more. People are thronging into the temple like anything. They are ready to wait for 7 kilometers for 48 hours. So
Mhm.
that means you have to cut down on the pujas. So unless otherwise you interfere on the religious affairs, you will not be able to make money for the temple, right?
Mhm.
This short time opportunity. Okay, the short opportunity must be utilized because Puratasi Saturdays will only come 4 times in a year during the Puratasi month. These 4 Saturdays must be utilized to the maximum. What do? You go to the temple, stop all the pujas, and then allow everybody to come inside. You get 6 more hours to make revenue.
So you're basically saying that in the precious days when the devas have to be prayed and
Pujas
the regulation of the energies has to happen. Basically, uh, nothing of the ritualistic value is happening inside in those precious days.
in Saturdays, Sundays, auspicious days, no pujas will happen in any temple in Tamil Nadu. I'm talking about famous temples, big
Hmm.
temples which is full lot of crowd. These temples will not have any kind of rituals, pujas, anything. Their pujas will be cut short. It will only happen for it's as a tick in the box. Many places it is stopped. The pujas will be completely stopped. It will be only an exhibition. People come, go, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, they have to get out because such is the crowd. Nobody cares for what is happening inside the temple. Everybody is in a hurry, you know. Even the people who are coming inside are in a hurry. They want to get inside. They don't care whether the puja is happening. You know why? Again, the problem is people don't know their relationship to the God. That is the problem. They think God is there to serve them,
Mm.
to give them
Yeah,
darshans.
God is a service provider.
Yeah, God is the service provider. You go and ask him for a wealth, he will give wealth. You go ask him for a building, he will give you a building. So people think that God is there to serve them. Unfortunately, which is why we are struggling today, and that is so the pressure is because of people as well, which is being exploited by the government, and the government automatically, in the name of providing better service, the word you used is the government is worst service provider. The worst service provider is trying to say that I will do a better service to the people, and he exploits people much more, and then he interferes into religious affairs. And religious affairs, when you interfere, who is going to stop it? Because I am interested in my darshan to God. Or why do I care whether God eats or not? Whether God
Mm.
has any rituals to be done or not? It is like today, I say that I respect my father very much, but I won't treat him for his heart attack. He'll be suffering in the heart attack. I won't take him to the doctor, but I will say, Pitaji, I'm happy. I'm here to serve you. That is what I will tell. It has become a thing of the
Lip,
tongue only.
lip, lip service.
Service. This is what we have reduced ourselves into. See, I am while these negativities are there, the shastras are there to only educate us that these negativities must go from us.
Mm.
And I don't have any problems in these negativities being there, because I see it as an opportunity to tell shastras to people. But the thing is that the number of people who are talking about what this Vedanta is very less today. People are being told, go to this temple if you have some ailment, go to that temple if you have this requirement, go to there are so many passport Hanumans here in Tamil Nadu, you know. They are called passport Hanumans. You go
Mm-hmm.
there and then do 20 parikramas to the god, you will get passport, you will get visa. There are several temples are like that in because the so-called Jyotish astrologers are
Mm-hmm.
misguiding. On one side, the government, the politicians are taking us for a ride. On the other side, the modern gurus are taking us for a ride. On the third side, the so-called astrologers are taking us for a ride, and our apathy itself is taking us for a ride. And I can very clearly see what they meant by looting our wealth. When the invaders came and then looted our wealth,
Mm-hmm.
like in Kanchipuram in Tamil Nadu, the temple was supposed to be completely shielded with gold. It
Mm-hmm.
was a golden temple.
Mm-hmm.
Malik Kafur came and then took everything away.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't know what. Remember, maybe Malik Kafur, maybe another invader. He came and then looted everything. He came only to loot that temple. He heard that it is a golden temple. All the walls and everything is covered with gold, and he took everything away. He took the material wealth of our country, and we are ourselves taking the spiritual wealth of the country today.
Oh yes,
So
that's
looting temples is happening from that day to this day. Yet we are surviving because of our genes, and then the karma bhumi that is there. The bhumi is saving us from this nonsense. And I'm hopeful that acharyas realize their importance, that they should, whatever they should say to the world, and then regulate it, and then take an active part in management of the temples. Only if they do that, this will change. Otherwise, it will go into ruins.
but uh, Narsimhanji, a lot of the acharyas that I have come across, and there are good ones as well. You know, they have their own space. I have great reverence for these people. Um, but most of the acharyas that we come across these days, I find two major traits, and you tell me if this observation is correct or not. One is, gatekeeping, and the other is a sense of withdrawalism that they themselves are in, and they also promote to the devotees. Right? It is. it is almost like they want to keep Arjuna till the 10th chapter and don't want him to graduate to the 11th chapter. You do whatever, but you focus on having a nice life, and just so it is. They almost promote they almost promote karma with a detachment from dharma, which is the exact opposite of the lessons and the teachings and the principles of the Bhagavad Gita. So this gatekeeping and uh, these are the two things that I have found very, very irritating, because you now I am more seasoned, let me put it that way. But whenever you used to see somebody in, say, in religious clothing with a tilka and all, sitting doing rituals in a temples, I coming from a more or less traditional family, used to go to them and used to look for some kind of teachings
Knowledge.
and advice. But then I started realizing that by sometimes I know much more than them,
Hmm.
because I have read things. In fact, even logical matters on how you should behave in a society, dharma, it should be dharma oriented. They're always trying to teach people that you should be karma oriented. Karma is ruling everything, and this is, I think, that the break. The breakage of the connection between see the link the sha- the people, the administration of the temple, the shastris, these were the link between in the ecosystem between common people and temple. Now that this link has become and there are several reasons for it, but they have become obsolete gatekeepers. They're not competent enough many a times, especially in the north, some in the south as well. I have come across those people as well. So I think there is no this is one area where we have become very, very weak. The acharyas themselves have
Exactly
become
what
very, very weak.
This is exactly what I meant as real acharyas. I'm talking about real gurus who are there for sampradayas. They
Hmm.
have detached themselves from the administration of the temple. And when I say administration of the temple, I mean the appointment of the pujari as well. They have to ensure that the right person is there. That is why they have not paid attention. They don't really care who becomes a pujari in a temple today.
Hmm.
In fact, most of the acharyas don't even know who the pujari is. Whether the pujari is, I mean, has gone through to the knowledge through the school to gain the knowledge properly or not, they don't even know. That is the reason. That is what I'm saying. When the acharyas are invisible today, every single aspect in the temple as a reason for it, and the reason is to uplift the person who is coming into the temple spiritually,
Hmm.
and then
Correct.
tell that material setbacks that they have is only temporary, and they should look for a eternal happiness. This is what they are supposed to say. And to do this, the pujari who is there is not supposed to be just rote learning the mantras and then do archanas. He should be in a position to guide. He should be a what do they call
Mentor.
mentor, or in the modern days they say they use the term to um, what do they call life coaches.
Life coaches.
Yeah, they call the term life coach is being used, right? They should be
Hmm.
they like that. And today also in the materialistic world, anybody becomes a life coach. It is not, it cannot be the same. I was on the other day, I was into one of my friend's office, and he has written 10 crores number 10,000,000. I said, what is this number? No, that is a life coach has written that to me so that I can keep my focus that I should become a 10 crore company. This is kind of life coach. Everybody is now wanting to become like that. See, when I go to a temple and I ask a pujari, what should I do? I have this ailment. The pujari should give the tirtham to you and then say, surrender yourself to God. Do your duty, take your medicines, go to your doctor and ask this question to the God, to the doctor, not here, to me.
Hmm.
Guide him to the doctor. You should not tell him, do 20 parikramas here, offer me this, and then your ailment will be gone. That is not the coach that we are wanting there. We are wanting to tell people that look, even Arjuna, even Bhishma, even Drona, even the big people suffered through this. This is a material life. This material life is full of positives and negatives. It is, everybody goes through this. You know Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra had so much of a power. He lost it every time he got into something. He got into lust. He lost everything. He got into anger. He lost everything. Right? He did this for several years. Even Ravana, for that matter, he was a great Shiva Bhakta, but he got into issues, lust again, and then he suffered. These are the things that we have to tell people. Let's say, for example, they say if you want to make a line smaller, you draw a line which is bigger to next to it. Then this line becomes. So if I go to a temple and then say I am having this suffering, I am having this thing, you should tell them, look, this is what Itihasas and Puranas are telling. Look how they survived. They survived because of their faith and the devotion to God. You also, if they can survive, you can also survive. This is the kind of knowledge that to be coaching that must be done by the people who are there in the temple. And to do this, I need to be trained, isn't it?
I mean, the guru has to be better than the disciple.
Yes, that means the guru must be trained by somebody else. He was a disciple of somebody else, right?
Correct.
That I am talking about the guru's guru. When I say acharyas, I am talking about the guru's gurus. And these gurus who are the acharyas should take an active part in what is happening inside a temple. If they don't do, then there is no point in cribbing. That is the biggest issue today. There is a disconnect from the philosophers to the ritualists. What we see in the temples are ritualists. Those who do the rituals. They know the rote learning of the mantras. They know how to perform it, and they will do it, and they will happily go after that. The spiritual guru does not stop there only. He will say, do this. That you use the word sadhana. How many of us know what sadhana means? How many of us know what dhyana means? Right now we go behind the modern gurus and then say you sit with your eyes closed and then try to focus yourself inside yourself. What is there inside yourself? The gut and then the whatever nonsense which is there inside the body. What is there inside our body? When you say focus inside, you are asking to focus on the Paramatma who is inside. From the external world, retract everything and then focus inside means that you should think about Paramatma, who is the Antaryami. Rather, we sit in a place and then go nice 5-star hotel kind of an environment, sit with your eyes closed, and then you feel that you are blissed. That is the kind of teaching that is happening in modern gurus. And these modern gurus are actually having more says in the temples today, which is actually one goes after the other, right? It is a domino effect. And day by day, the purpose of the temple is lost, and it is going on the wrong side. This is the right time for the acharyas to step inside, to create the disciples who are qualified to man these places, be it as an archaka, be it an administrator, be it anybody in the temple. Every one of them must be meticulously chosen by the acharya and then placed in the place, because they are the ones who are actually going to have a change. Without them, there cannot be any change in the society.
And now this human resource function of the temple in the temples that are under the aegis of the government is taking place by the government, right?
The government is the boss now. When the government is there, everybody wants to keep quiet even further. At least if there is an acharya, we can probably go and then ask him, is he right or wrong? But when it is a government, people are so scared to even talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, you have a guy who's written a guy or a lady who's written a government exam, and now they're sitting on top of a temple. They may not even know how to. They might not be lighting a diya inside a deepam inside their own house, but then they get to sit on the highest chair of administration of a spiritual abode. That's blasphemous itself.
It is blasphemy. That is the reason why I'm going to the court now. The only other option we have left is the courts, and we put the faith on the courts and then try to see if this can be stopped, because they are actually trespassing. They're neither qualified nor they have any legal right, so they are actually trespassers.
But the Indian state and and its stakeholders, I think they have a sense that they have a tacit sense that temple is their property.
Mm, yeah,
They have
they think
they
so. Everybody
right.
thinks so. And even the common man thinks that it is government's temple. That's how they address the temple today. That's a government temple. What is a government temple? How can a government have a temple for that matter? So there's no government temple. It's your temple. In fact, the fundamental philosophy of principle of what democracy is also lost to us. In democracy, we are the kings, but we think the politicians are the kings. That is the problem.
It's difficult
We
to be a king.
we hesitate to ask questions to a politician. They are our
Yes.
servants. They are our servants. We are the kings, and they are our servants.
But so, sir, in this case, there was a statement by a politician recently about Sanatan Dharma. And we don't want to get into the details of it because the question is, I want to keep this conversation as apolitical to make it more, constructive. At least at this point of time, that um, if a politician made that kind of a statement, there was no like real outrage from people as such. I mean, there was some hullabaloo in some pockets, but if say Mr. Modi makes a statement like this,
Mm,
right?
mm.
People will be out on the street. People, the city pretty much will not function.
Then,
So,
even
what is
then,
the difference?
I will tell you the difference. It is not the people who will be coming to the streets at all. It is the politicians who will come to the streets. The other side of the politician.
Mhm.
Okay. If you are talking about Mr. Modi telling this and then the whole world is coming to the streets, is only because of the politicians who are making it as a social issue.
Correct.
Today, the opposition is weak.
Hmm.
When Nastika is saying something about our gods, about our dharma, when the people are not coming to the streets, means there is no political party which is wanting to make it as a political issue or a social issue and then take it to the streets.
Because people don't make it a people's issue as it
But
is.
the people of our country are very satisfied with what they are. They will continue to do whatever they want to do. They're least bothered about the politicians. They know that the politicians cannot do anything. They will do their duty by casting their votes. That ends their job. And they will
But
leave the fate. This is what is
this,
happening.
this is slightly sarcastic, not towards you, but like the general scenario that how will we become a Vishwaguru if
That is again a political statement.
yes, I know.
These are all political statements. These statements have got no meaning. Who is going to certify you as a guru? Guru for what? The next thing is guru. If you want to become a Vishwa Guru for what? See, all these words have got deep meaning in it. Okay, but they are being used as a chocolate or a biscuit, right? Which is unfortunate. The most important words in our dharma is being used for political purpose. Be it this
Mhm.
side or that side doesn't matter. They use it for the political reasons. At the end of the day, the politics will survive only if the politicians are actually trying to save dharma. Otherwise, they can't. They can't survive. This is what Mahabharata taught us. This is what Ramayana taught us. This is what
And the
all the
country itself will not survive in that case, right?
yes, that is what Srimad Bhagavata says that it will die. The country, not only this country, the entire world will die. It has to go through this phase. This is a phase. We are in the 28th Chaturika. We are not in the first Chaturika. This is not the first Kali. This is the 28th Kali.
Hmm.
So we have finished 27 cycles of 43 lakh 20,000 years, which is nearly 12 crore years. We have finished it, and this is the for 28th cycle, and this cycle will have to come to an end. That is exactly why the spirituality must come take front seat today, driving seat today, to tell people, look, if you want to be on the better side of dharma of God, good books of God, be on the right side of dharma. That is exactly what Mahabharata taught us. Bhishma, however great he may be, Durana, however great he may be, he took the side of adharma and he perished.
Even as a mute spectator.
Yes, even if you are a
E-
mute spectator, you will die like Duryodhana. When these two people are actually mute spectators, when Draupadi was humiliated in the Sabha, right?
In fact, Bhishma had a much worse death than
Yes,
the
he suffered.
Duryodhana.
Nobody knew. He laid in the bed of arrows for several months,
Correct.
and he suffered. We cannot stand a thorn pricking our leg for a second, right? He laid on a bed of arrows from his own son Arjuna. Son, kind of, is not son, but
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
his son, right?
From his
And
own protege.
that is the fate of somebody who's going to be on the other side of Dharma, who is going to be on the wrong side of Dharma. These Ramayana, Mahabharata, all these Puranas, they teach us this, and that is why we have to have the conscience that we should be doing punya, not papa, in our actions. And for that, we should know what is punya. For that, we should know what is papa.
Mm-hmm.
If nobody is going to tell us today, I was thinking in the morning also. Today, if there is money made, that person can say anything in this world. If I am rich, I can say anything. I become
That's true.
intellect. I become intellect in service, everything, on all subjects. I become an intellect.
Sir, just a small interjection that has been told to me by in the value investor world, people who invest and all, they said that the Indian public generally, whoever is giving them EPS and whoever is making money for them or whoever's shares are going upwards, that guy is the best guy for
Yes.
all philosophies. All somebody might be running a small Ponzi scheme kind of application, and on the numbers will be very high. That guy will become a life coach immediately and will start telling you how you should conduct your life, how the society should be,
Yes.
how you should behave with your parents, your relatives, and people are pretty accepting to that guy,
You
to
have to
that
become a rich
person.
person or a celebrity. Either you should be a rich person.
Cel-
Celebrity is
ce-
always rich. Celebrity.
celebrity is another disease, sir. This vasana of appearing on social media, on TV all the time,
Yes.
this has taken the better side of so many people. It has ruined so many people who could have contributed a lot, and this is another disease. And especially in the time of social media, where the part of the reason I don't do a video series or a video podcast at this point of time is, as it is, I am a bit introvertish. Don't want too much attention interfering with my general life, but also because I think that this vasana of appearing on internet and getting likes and all, this just ruins the sanctity that is there in me, and it ruins the sanctity for people for whom it has almost become an intoxication to be liked by a few lakh people and things like that.
That is exactly, again we come back to the same point. These are all the distractors, and the distractors are the reason why we get attached to certain things, and this attachment is the reason for our misery.
Mm,
This is something that we have to consciously avoid.
correct.
The distraction must be avoided, the attachment must be avoided if you want to be happy. But the world, unfortunately, today is towards the exhibitionism, is what is happening. If I have the right from the day the baby is born, it has been videographed.
That, see, I come from a rural background, sir. In on our side, till the baby is, the first hairs are removed, never even exposed the baby to people outside the immediate family. And now people are recording their wives, in the dilation, in during dilation.
From the time that the coming baby is coming out of the mother, it has been,
Yes.
it's been exhibitionist. So the baby is, right from the birth, it has been taught that you should become an exhibitionist. You should display your characters. I mean, it's a birth. Everybody
Yes.
comes out of a mother's womb. Everybody comes out. What is there to display in this? I don't understand. But such is the kind of negativity that the social media has created. For everything, there is a two sides of the coin: the positive side and the negative side. Unfortunately, the negative side is always dominant. Not only
Mm,
this, in all yugas, the negative side will always be dominant. But at the end of it, the positive side will always win. That is why we say satyameva jayate. Finally satya will triumph. And the purpose of whatever I am doing and whatever acharyas wanted us to do is to ensure that people come out of this maya world and then understand what they are, be rooted to their fundamentals, be rooted to their ancestors, be grateful to them, and then lead a life which is worthwhile
Mm-hmm.
for the society, for the world. um, I mean, this is exactly what we should teach people. And then again, like I said, temples must play a major role. And if temples will have to play a major role, the acharyas must take a major role in the administration and day-to-day activities of the temple. And they cannot just stop with pravachans and recitals. They should go into the serious meanings and then help the people understand with examples from the itihasas and puranas.
Mm.
If this happens, then we can expect a better world for our next generation. Otherwise it is bleak only.
So I think we've discussed a lot of problems and how the issues, the underlying issues. On a positive note, sir, uh, if people have to do something, right? How, what are your? I mean, because you understand this, I'm asking this question because you understand the system better. What kind of conscious efforts are needed from the end of that? There are three stakeholders here: the acharyas, the people, and the government. We've discussed about the acharyas. Government, I think perhaps later sometime we can have a more technical discussion. But from the people itself, what is needed to be done consciously so that this situation becomes better?
Consciously, people must look for the right acharya. They should not look for people who will help them, people who can sugarcoat and then pamper them. There's nothing to be pampered. If you do a karma, it has got either a positive or a negative effect on you.
Correct.
The positive, you do karmas which will have positive effect on you. If you have ever done as negative karma which has got negative effect, you go through the phase for as a punishment for that. And people must start understanding that it is not a magic. God is not going to give something to you just because you went around parikrama 25 times in his temple, but he will measure you based on your deeds, your karmas. And this karma is also not, people should also understand that the word karma itself is being misused today to say that if I am dedicated in the work that I am doing, then I am a karma yogi. It is not so. The karma that somebody is supposed to be doing is based on what Vedas have told for a particular varna and a particular ashrama. It depends on your varna ashrama. The dharma that you should be doing is what is your karma. So you should know that these karmas, for example, I am a Brahmin and I am a Grihastha, and a Brahmin who is a Grihastha is supposed to do certain karmas on a daily basis, which is mandated by Vedas, and I am not supposed to do certain things as well. So every single day I should practice this. This is what you called as sadhana. If I do this, then this karma will help me to gain jnana. From karma yoga, I will go to jnana yoga and then go to bhakti yoga and then I will go to moksha. Right? That is the path. People should understand that their karma is not just making money and then spending it, but to take part actively on the social causes with the knowledge that everything that you are doing is actually a service to God.
Correct.
If you do that sincerely, then you have a good platform on top of which you can start building. How do you do this? You can take part actively in the various activities that is happening in a temple. You can raise your voice when something is, you see that it is not logical and it is not correct. Our conscious gut feel will tell us something is wrong. You don't need law or anything. We can simply see something. If a boy is beating a cow, then we can immediately see something is wrong. Why would he beat a cow? You can say stop it. On the street, when you're going, somebody is honking the car for a cow to move. You can always say stop. Don't worry. Don't be patient. Help the cow move away and then ask him to go away. Small things like this will add a lot of punya to you, and that will happen on a day-to-day basis on everything. You help a person, help a poor person learn something, teach him a story of Krishna, teach him a story of Rama, teach him a story of Shiva, teach him a story of Durga, take him to the temple and then tell him what it is, and then learn from others. When you go to the temple, don't go there, have darshan and then come. Ask the pujari, what is the name of this god? What is the importance of this temple? Why did he get this name? You may get an answer, you may not get an answer. But the more and more involvement that you show, you will get the answers eventually.
And the priests will, and the priests will also up their game. They will also become learned, because once people start asking questions.
Exactly. It is a pull and push mechanism, The priest will also start learning. He will know, oh, I am getting under pressure. No, I have to start talking to him about the God that is there. So I have to tell why this God is in the standing posture today. Why is he in a sitting posture? Why is he in a lying posture? Why is he so tall here and not so tall there? Why is he in the form of a baby here? Why is he in the form of some big Vishwarupa there? All these questions. You go to different temples, you see different gods, you try to understand what is the purpose of that particular god in that particular temple, and what is the attribute of that god that you should take away from the temple when you are coming out of the temple. So involve yourself, ask pertinent questions. Don't just go. I'm not saying don't ask for wealth. I'm saying don't ask for health. You continue that, you will anyway do it. But apart from that, expand your knowledge. Just go beyond what you can start thinking. Simple questions. Ask them, what is the benefit of doing a parikrama? Why should we go clockwise? What is wrong in going anti-clockwise? These are all sciences. This is all science. What do you mean by Go Puja? What do you mean by Surya Namaskar? What is it? What am I supposed to do on a daily basis? Should I go to the temple every day? Should I light a diya in the house? What is the purpose of the diya? Why should I put what we call as rangoli? Why do we have to do that? Why do we celebrate this? Why do we celebrate that? Krishna Jayanti is celebrated on a particular day in South India, on a particular day in North India. Why is that? Ram Navami is celebrated in one way this year. Dashara is celebrated differently in North India and differently in South India. Why is that? Ask these questions. These are all the questions. There are n number of questions one can ask. Actually, if you observe kids, if you take your kids to the temple, and the moment you can, they will start asking questions for sure.
Correct.
Kids are all open-minded. They don't have egos. If you take a kid to the temple, and the kind of questions that comes from the kid's mind should come from your mind as well. When you go to the temple, become a kid. Don't use your ego. Don't use your social stature. Don't use your monetary stature in the society. Don't use your power. Become a child of God and then ask questions. Learn
the answer. That. The answer comes pretty quick.
It will come. 100%. Even if the person that you're asking is not going to know, somebody next to you will tell you. It will come from some area. You cannot stop. If you don't get an answer, you still keep asking till you get an answer, right? For example, you do this on a daily basis. You get an ailment and then you go to the doctor and then you take some medicines. It is not working out. It is not, your ailment is not gone. That doesn't mean that you're going to stop, isn't it? You're going to the next doctor, right?
Yes.
You're going to the next doctor to see whether he can help you. You're changing from homeopathy to allopathy to Ayurveda. You try different things to get yourself better physically. to
in this transition from one temple to the another, one question to another to other, there are a lot of small pawn shop like service providers
correct, correct,
which give you quick benefit, don't tell you
correct,
about the side effects. And I think a lot of the society these days, and they're across religions, huh? I have seen Sanatanis Hindus falling in trap of so many different kind of traps. For just to keep things objective, I won't go into the details of all the dirty things people get into, but I see a lot of people going for these quick gratification measures which
correct,
ail their families for generations to come,
correct,
right?
correct,
So you should also, I think there this is also an aspect that when and you have a direct line with the highest. See, if
right,
I have a direct line with the CEO of a company
correct,
or or the prime minister of a country, why should I keep talking to different kind of stakeholders which will have their own interests, which will have their own karmas and vasanas, and they will ruin your life at the end of the day. That is something that uh,
right,
that trap is there in society, and a lot of people fall for it, sir. I
right,
don't have
right.
to tell you. You are in a
That,
temple. I don't have to tell you that.
that is how it is. That is how the world is. The world is full of distractions. You have to make use your sixth sense to understand what is right and what is wrong. If you don't do, then you become an animal. An animal will go behind anybody, even the butcher, who is going to feed it. The
Correct.
animal does not know that he is going to kill it.
Correct.
You are not an animal. That is why they say jnanena hinaha pashubi samanaha. So you have to have that jnana. Otherwise, you are equivalent to an animal. A person who is devoid of knowledge is equivalent to animal. That is the meaning of the sloka. Jnanena hinaha
Mm.
pashubi samanaha. You are not the pasus. The pasu means in this here pasu means are animals. Animals
Mm.
are worried about their physical presence. They care for their physical thing. They are always wanting to eat, get themselves protected from the enemies, etc., etc. And that is why they go behind the butcher also, who is going to feed them. You can't be
That's
like that. You should know
that's
who is a
correct.
butcher. You should know who is a butcher, who is going to be a protector. When Sri Krishna gives you a banana, that means he's going to protect you. When a butcher gives you a banana, it means he's going to kill you. The banana is the same. You are the same. Only the other person is different. If you choose the wrong person, it is neither the fault of Krishna nor the fault of the banana. It's the fault of yours. Don't become a pashu. This is another thing that people must understand. The sixth sense that we keep so proud of. We are all so proud of being a sixth sense organ animal, right?
Hmm.
Use the sixth sense to try to find out the right person, and that will definitely take some effort from your side. It is not
And
a 2 minute in.
and greed is a great delusion. If you're greedy, then you're
Yes,
most likely to fall in that trap.
everybody wants to have a quick result. That is another issue. Nothing comes quickly. If something comes quickly, then that is bad. That is a simple rule of thumb that we can have. If anything comes quickly, that is most probably 99% is not good for you, because your education did not come quickly. It took 12 years plus 4 years or 3 years
Hmm.
before you get one job, which may
Correct.
probably pay you 10,000, 5,000, 10,000 rupees.
Hmm.
It is not an easy way, right? Every single thing you may think that you can go to a store and then get rice, but the rice did not come easily, or the wheat did not come easily. Some farmer had toiled his life, waited for 3 to 6 months to 9 months, protected it, nurtured it, and then he has given it to you. Nothing came free, nothing came easily. So if something comes to you quickly, that means you are on the wrong side mostly, 99% of the time. So you should have the patience to, people should develop. This is what Sanatana Dharma tells you, know. Have patience, have karuna. That means that
Karuna.
you should have all these good qualities. Then you will become a better person. You will have a better life. So that is
I
That is my 2 cents basically.
I think it's a good point to conclude the conversation, sir. Are there any final comments that you have? I would really love to extend our conversation and have many more such conversations on different topics with you. So
Sure.
and have it in a more refined manner as per your convenience. So, but at this point of time, I think it's a good point, and we're ending it on a positive note, so that the shrotas, the audience, can have some good takeaway on how they should function. So, any final comments that you have?
Only one final thing: ask questions. Ask questions if you are in doubt. Whenever you are in doubt, just don't just don't keep quiet and then go, that's not my job. Ask questions. Be it on an administration, be it on a spiritual thing. It may be the silliest of the questions that in your mind, but doesn't matter. Please ask. If you ask, you will get an answer. You have the patience to uh, wait for the answer to come to you. Don't be in a hurry to get the answer. Sometimes when you ask people, when you ask learned people, they will ensure that you have a foundation, and then they will feed you slowly. They won't give you the answer immediately. They may ask you to do this and that instead of giving a direct answer. Don't get disappointed with that. When you have gone to somebody, have faith in that person and spend the time to, so that till the time you get the answer. I will end this thing with a small story of Ramanujacharya.
Please.
Ramanujacharya is a scholar, and is nothing, none other than Adisesha. He is Rama Anuja, Shri Rama's brother. In Ramayana, he came as Lakshmana. In Mahabharata, he came as Balarama. In the Kali Yuga, he came as Ramanuja. This Ramanuja knows everything, right? He is a Nitya Suri. He knows everything. But he walked 18 times from Srirangam to Tirukottiyur, which is about 100 kilometers from Srirangam, 18 times to get the meaning of the Charama Sloka. Every time he goes to the Acharya to get the meaning, the Acharya rejects him and then sends him home, so that he comes back correcting that mistake that he has made earlier. So 18 he goes to his Acharya, Perinambi, Tirukottiyur Nambi, and then he, at the end of the 18th time, he got the meaning of the Charama Sloka. Okay, so if and why did he do that? He did that to help us get us educate us basically, that nothing comes for free, nothing comes easily. Even if you are Ramanujacharya, even if you are Lakshmana himself, even if you are Rama himself, Rama is known to have been sitting in the ashrams of several rishis during the initial phases of his vanvas, right? So Rama need not learn anything from anybody. He is Almighty. But since he was born here, he went to the rishis, stayed in the ashram, did the kankaryam to the gurus and the guru patnis, and then he learned from them. That is the quality that we all have to start imbibing in us. The moment we start doing this first step of learning, we can very clearly see that our life is getting better day by day by day, and we will very quickly come out of this misery of this samsara basically. So samsara sagara is ghora. This is what they say, ananta klesha bhavana. This is complete, it is filled with sorrows and miseries. If you want to get out of this, you should look for the real knowledge. You should be a jignasa. That's what they say. Jignasa means the person who is interested to know the real meaning. So ask questions, ask questions, ask questions.
And learn from Shri Rama.
Yes. This Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Chatrukana, all the four, you can learn several qualities from them.
Correct.
Try to imbibe them. Try to see where you can use them. You may not know where you can use a particular quality of Rama or a particular quality of Lakshmana, but try to see before you do certain things, is there any quality of Rama or Krishna that I can imbibe in this in this task that I have undertaken? Think about it, and that will give you the answer.
Thank you so much, sir. It's a pleasure to have you.
It's a pleasure myself. Yes. Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram.